The march to the Super Bowl has begun. We are live in Irvine, California at the Rams training camp. The road to the Super Bowl doesn't start in September. It begins out here on hot fields in Irvine, California at UC Irvine. The Rams looking to get back to the Super Bowl. It may be the only direction this team needs to go right now, and a win in the Super Bowl would certainly be the most successful part of the season for this team. Let me hit this right off the top, everybody. Hi, I'm Liz Habib. Welcome to Rams training camp with Kevin Demoff, the COO and president of the Rams team. 10 years you've been with this organization. How's it different this year as you head into training camp?
Well, the march to the Super Bowl might actually be real. It's more of a scamper, it feels like, in the first few days. But
well, I need to be dramatic.
It's the dramatic, but I think the great part is having gone to the Super Bowl last year and knowing what that looks like and feels like you can start to build that back up. New team, new year, new players, but great to see the fan support, and you're back here at UC Irvine where we love hanging out for training camp, so it's a great start.
It's a nice setup and a not so bad day in terms of how hot it is. But I want to ask you the first question that everybody asks me, and I know everybody asks you when they're walking. In fact, what do you think the first question is everybody asks?
Should you draft Todd Gurley in the first round of your fantasy draft?
Close. It involves Todd Gurley. How is Todd Gurley's knee? We're not going to see much of Todd Gurley until September 8th when you guys play.
You didn't see much of him last year or the year before until September 8th.
Right.
So I think the great part is, Reggie Scott, our trainers, our doctors, Todd have come up with a great plan really to put him through the preseason, to put him in the regular season. The goal is, last two seasons he's led the NFL in touches, yards, touchdowns, trying to reduce some of that volume, certainly now in July, get him ready so as we get to the end of the season like we were last year, that he can help power us through that Super Bowl run.
He's sick of hearing the questions, I know it, because I listened to him and he said, look, let it be. I'm tired of all this negative energy coming to my knee, so...
Well, I think it's going to be one of those things that until the season starts, until he goes out and he's Todd Gurley, he's going to get the questions, right? But we all have great confidence that once Carolina rolls around, you're going to see Todd Gurley in his best shape and form, and that's all we can look forward to.
In fact, why don't we hit that? Why don't we play that soundbite from Todd Gurley where he does talk about this a little bit? He spoke to the media yesterday.
Oh, it's good. Just out here just doing what I do. Obviously, about to go do some recovery after this and, just get ready for the next day.
Jared was saying that he can't imagine how you feel because he gets asked about your knee every day.
Mm-hmm.
He said it's good for you.
I got to stop putting this bad energy in my knee, man. Just let it be. I don't have to prove anything to nobody. I've been doing this for years now, so it's like it's the same stuff every year.
There'll be some days that, depending upon his workload, and like we've said, Gary kind of looking towards that Carolina game, we might look at, looking at him as the way we've kind of treated some of those veteran players. And, Todd really has kind of become a veteran player as well. So you could see, the workload from day to day be alternated based on kind of what we get from the GPS and the tracking system and really how he's feeling most importantly.
All right, there you go. Sean McVay talking a little bit about how Todd is really kind of on a pitch count. They're going to keep close track of how he's doing. And that, of course, is to protect him so that he can get to the playoffs in the end of the season.
We have a great sports science group. He's been on a pitch count the past few years. All of our players technically are. Whether you look at an Andrew Whitworth, an Aaron Donald, even a Jared Goff or Robert Woods, a Brandon Cooks, we limit their reps. We try to dial it down. And the nice part about being season 3 with Coach McVay, this offense, is they don't need all of these reps to get their timing down, to know the playbook. They know it very well. This is really more about fine-tuning them ahead of Carolina.
I want to talk about Jared Goff. Jared Goff coming into his 4th season, took this team to the Super Bowl last year. The overriding discussion with him is going to be about his contract. He has said whatever's best for the team, I'll wait, but he has not been given a contract extension yet. Can you comment on that, what you guys are waiting for?
It's not really a waiting for, right? As you get into Jared's window to sign an extension started this offseason. You couldn't do it until then. If you look at the history of our extensions as we've done, yes, Todd was done before camp, but if you talk about an Aaron Donald was right before the end of training camp, Rob Havenstein was before the end of training camp. So we're typically a July, August group. We've had conversations with his representation. Those are always ongoing. And I think Les said it best at the press conference on Friday. It's a matter of when, not if. And I think that's the way we view it. He's played great the past 2 seasons, and he's looked great today.
Yeah, he does. Here's Jared, so you can hear from in his own words what he thinks of this.
What's it mean to you when you hear Les say it's not a matter of if Jared signs a contract extension, it's a matter of when? To be that definitive and come out and say how much he wants you.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's definitely gives me a lot of confidence and makes me feel good. But at the same time, I understand how it works and just go out and play and do what I do and again, let that take care of itself.
I know you keep saying that, but would you like to get it done before this season? Do you care if it goes on until next season?
Whatever's best for us.
There it is, just what we told you. You know, when he sees Carson Wentz, who was drafted, they were drafted 1-2 that season. When he sees Carson Wentz get a $128 million contract extension, Jared's always really, stays the same, very even keel with everything. As the season goes on, how do you guys maybe control the expectations or maybe any negative thoughts that might creep into his head? Say he has a bad game.
Well, I think that's where Sean has a great communication with him. Les has a great communication. This isn't as if we're not talking to him about his deal or his agents are. I mean, we're in constant communication, constant dialogue. But I think what makes Jared special is he blocks out things, play to play, game to game. And this is not on his mind. He's told us as much. And I'm sure when he sees Carson get paid, he knows that payday is coming someday soon. And maybe he'll just plan for it a little bit later than Carson got his.
Is this just a matter of planning? You have signed some. You just, did extensions for Les and Sean. You gave $1 million more to Robert Woods. You did the big Todd Gurley, Aaron Donald. Is this just a matter of waiting until you get a little bit more money because maybe you're in a little bit of a cash crunch?
No, I think it's a matter of, we did a lot of deals last year in advance. And, when you're talking about this, Jared still has 2 years left on his contract, right? So we're still at the very early part of when you can do an extension. Really, until Carson Wentz had done his deal, it had been very rare for a quarterback to get done 2 years early. Only Ryan Tannehill had ever had that happen. So I think Carson's moved it up a little bit, but there are some differences, obviously, between Carson and Jared. And the Eagles have always been proactive about doing deals. We are trying to be proactive, but at the same time, we have a lot of guys coming up. We have a number of free agents this year. Our goal is to keep this nucleus together. And part of Jared is he's the biggest domino, obviously, with the largest cap hit and the largest cash outlay, but you want to make sure that the Cooper Kupps, the John Johnsons, the Tyler Higbees, the Corey Littletons, that you balance all of that along with the Marcus Peters and the guys who got paid, that you can keep this team together for as long as possible.
This is a big chunk, though. Jared Goff has a great season. You're looking at possibly the highest contract ever awarded to a quarterback in the NFL, right?
Wouldn't that be a great problem to have?
It's a good answer. I'm sure he'll be happy to hear that answer. Let's talk about Les Snead and Sean McVay, the general manager who has done such a great job with, the offensive player of the year, the defensive player of the year, Jared Goff in that mix, and Sean McVay in his second season taking you guys to the Super Bowl. To me, it's a no-brainer to give them extensions and move on from there.
I think you said it. It's a no-brainer, right? And you want to make sure that you keep that group together for as long as possible. There are things that help you win in the NFL, talent certainly, but continuity in your organization. From your head coach, we talked earlier about Todd. Same offense for all of these guys for the past 3 years. Same defense for 3 years. Same special teams with John Fossil for 3 years. That's how you continually get better and refine, and you get veterans who want to come in and play for Coach McVay. You see, Clay Matthews and Eric Weddle and Andrew Whitworth and Aqib Talib, all these veterans who want to come be here. I think that says everything you want. And this was about ownership and Stan Kroenke really right after the Super Bowl saying, we want to make sure we take care of you guys, get you done, and we'll go plan for the next 5 years. And I think it blends into what we're talking about with all these players as well. As you go plan for the future of your roster, you want to make sure that your leadership in those two is taken care of as well.
Indulge me for a second. Okay, we know it's 5 years you've extended Sean McVay, right? But we never know. You never give the contract, the amount of money they're making, right? And so there's sort of like some estimates out there that Bill Belichick makes $12 million, but Matt LaFleur maybe $5 million. But Matt LaFleur is in the Sean McVay coaching tree. So can you give us any kind of ideas? More than Matt LaFleur and less than Bill Belichick?
More than our drafted rookies, probably less than Jared Goff.
I'm trying to see what that is, but there you go. All right, so finally, Kevin, here you come off a year where you lost in the Super Bowl, right? But to me, it seems as though this team is still together. The nucleus is still there, that really the next thing for this team to do is win the Super Bowl. What have you added to this team that makes you confident to get back to the Super Bowl? It's very difficult to do and win the Super Bowl.
Well, I don't think it's as much additions, right? It's getting better with what you have. It's every player in our roster who was with us last year, improving this offseason, whether it's Jared Goff, Todd Gurley, Brandon Cooks, Robert Woods. Everybody had great years last year. They can get better, but you get a Cooper Kupp back, hopefully fully healthy for this season, who we missed last year. You get Todd Gurley back fully healthy, and then you get the chance to go add, Clay Matthews. You get a chance to add an Eric Weddle. Hopefully that bolsters your defense. But also you go and you look at it, hey, maybe a Micah Kiser who comes in his second year helps you at middle linebacker. Marcus Peters is more comfortable in his second year. I think it's about maturation for a still relatively young team getting better. And also now learning what it takes to get to the Super Bowl. I think if you go back to 2017, we had an unbelievable season. You unfortunately lose in the first round of the playoffs. And you took that and you built off of that to know what it takes to win in the playoffs to go advance the Super Bowl. This year we have the advantage of having gone through all of that, playing in the Super Bowl. So you know the cadence, you know the rhythm of what it's going to take. But the first step, quite honestly, is winning your division and trying to get a bye the same way we did last year. There is no Super Bowl without qualifying for the playoffs. So the first goal has to be make the playoffs, go from there, and I think the team will be able to take advantage of the lessons gained from last year.
Most excited person you're looking forward to seeing? Who's most exciting to you out there when you look? I'm looking at this team this season. Who's really, you're going, yeah.
I think to me, it's exciting to see all of them, right? It's how it gels and comes together. This is, there was an amazing statistic the other day that Sean McVay has never spent a day in second place, as head coach of the LA Rams. And so to me, it's not about individual players. It's can this team pick it up to the next level? We've had the most wins, most points scored, and biggest point differential the last 2 years. But obviously, it takes a lot of success in the NFL to have that continue into a third year. And can we continue to push forward as an organization? And heading into Inglewood a year from now, that's the big goal.
Oh. Well, you just said it. How's the stadium going? How's it going? Is it going to open as what's it now? A year from now, after this season, next season?
It's on pace to open, ready for next year. So I was there on Wednesday. The roof is starting to go on, so it's really exciting. As excited as I am about training camp, walking through that stadium got me just as excited.
On budget, how's the budget going with it?
The budget, I don't know. We'll see what Jared takes, and maybe if there's a little bit left over from Jared's contract, we'll put it in the stadium.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot to juggle that money, Kevin. All right, great. Thank you. Good luck to you guys this season. We appreciate you giving us time.
Thanks, Liz. Appreciate it.
Good. All right, guys, we've got a lot more to come as we continue to take you through training camp here with the Rams. Stay tuned. Pablo Alcina's here. He's going to talk more about some of the players. Stick around.